Welcome to Speed Scene Live TV, the only show dedicated to the sportsman racer. Brought to you by Curry Rear Ends, Hedman Hustler Headers, M&H Tires, Aeromotive Fuel Systems, and TheFoat.com. With your hosts, Diana-Mite, Bruce Barker, Scott Lucky Hudson, Alex Rogio, Bob Beck, Bryant Layton, with Donnie Couch and Dar Hawthorne.
Welcome to the show, Speed Scene Live. That's right, we're back live in studio after being on the road for an entire month promoting Curry, Hedman, and Aeromotive products. And man, it's good to be back. My name is Lucky. Diana-Mite's right over here. Diana-Mite, there you are.
Yes. Takes time for that camera to switch.
There you go.
I was just thinking everybody forgot who everybody was. That's the problem.
Bruce Barker's over there taking care of all the cameras and the knobs and the switches and the dials. Hot Rod Bob Beck. He's got the great American auto scene. And we have got a special guest later tonight that we will bring in. But before we do, man, we got a bunch of stuff lined up. We got a big off-road show coming up with Charlene Bauer from Bauer Motorsports Media. We've got the Geezer Gassers coming up pretty soon with update on Bowling Green Hot Rod Reunion. They're going to talk about their new sponsor, Haggerty Insurance, and why you should have Haggerty Insurance.
I do have Haggerty Insurance.
Oh, there you go.
There you have it.
And next week we're going to talk about the PTRA up in Canada with Snakebite Racing.
Nice.
So, and I want to remind everybody that 4th of July, North Star Dragway in Denton, Texas, Pro Mods versus Fuel Alters. Hey, let's talk to a little interview here. Let's find out a little bit about Match Race Madness. It's coming up.
Hi. Okay, my name's Sonia. How are you doing today?
I'm good.
What's your name?
My name is Lucky. I live up in Yorba Linda.
What kind of engine do you have in your car today?
It's a 540 big block Chevy, naturally aspirated.
Are you excited about today? Are you nervous? Tell me your emotions today.
You know, the Match Race Madness, you know what's great about the Match Race Madness is it puts together people that are similar, and it gives us the opportunity to race heads up. I'm excited about that. I think it's a great deal. It's really a neat deal to have out at the racetrack.
Okay, so is this your first time here? Or?
First time for Match Race Madness, but I've raced at Verona several times. Always have a great time out at this track. It's a great track. They prep it good, they run it good, and I really like racing here. Well, I'm racing up against a very good racer, a young lady by the name of Diane.
Oh, a lady.
And a lady. It's tough when you race a lady racer. You got to really watch out because the lady racers are really good at concentrating.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to mention my sponsors, Hedman Hustler Headers, Aeromotive Fuel Systems, and of course Curry Rear Ends. These are companies that help me come out and do the racing.
Okay, that's great. Well, it was nice to meet you.
It was a pleasure meeting you.
I hope you have a great time and enjoy your run.
Thank you for taking the time out to talk to me.
You're welcome.
Hey, I want to put a big thanks out to Bruce. Hey, there's Colt, the race dog right there. Check it out. He says Match Race. There's no cure. Hey, I want to say here's Diane racing me in that beautiful, beautiful Nova.
So Bob was just mentioning that she put together a whole new motor, Lucky.
She did, and you know what? She's way too fast for me now. I can tell you that much.
Right.
She is a great driver, a great racer, both her and her husband, Jimmy. But, hey, I want to say thanks to Bruce and Donnie and Dar and Alex and Bob for doing such a great job while I was out traveling. I got a chance to watch them on my phone as I was going from track to track, and they really did a great job.
Well, great. We want to remind everybody that July 3rd at Irwindale, there's going to be a Match Race Madness warm-up party, and Ray Ramos is going to be racing Santos, I hope I get this last name right, Renovales.
It's got to be right.
So,
it sounds right.
Does it sound right?
Yes.
Renovales.
Sounds fast.
Yes. So, you know, we're just giving you a little taste, a little flavor of what is going to be happening out there at Verona, because, of course, the Match Race Madness is coming up at Verona on Saturday, August 23rd. And you know what? The DVD is available for purchase. You know, it's got cool interviews like the one you just saw with Lucky, and it's all about the race racing, the match racing. And hey, boys and girls, you want to be on the next DVD? Then get a hold of Steve Sherman and set up a match race of your own. Everybody wants to be on film, right, Lucky?
It's a great race, a good time, great trophies. You can be on the DVD, and we're going to show some more interviews later with Diane. We got one with Woody. We got a bunch of great stuff. This is a fun event. So
Verona's a great track to race at. We want to remind everybody of the wonderful casino out there. For those of you that, you know what, you don't have the RV, but you want to spend the night, there's a nice hotel. There's a casino with a buffet. There's golf course. There's everything out there. Guys, bring your wives. Send them shopping if they don't want to watch you race, but it's a fabulous track. You can't miss out on that.
Labor Day weekend, it's going to be the Speed Scene Live Nationals. They're planning on being at the Hillbilly Arm Drop Drags on Labor Day weekend.
that's right. I'm going to be out there, and I'm going to be racing and enjoying the Hillbilly Arm Drop Drag.
Well,
That's right.
That's going to be old Kent Rose, huh?
That's right. Shaking hands with Kent Rose. All right, now, Bob, I'm going to give you 30 seconds before I ask you a question. I want to get in this first. Tonight, we got a special guest, Bill Wyden from Donate Life. We're going to watch the car go down the track. We're going to find out what this whole Signatures Across America thing's about. We also have Dar Hawthorne's in the studio. He just couldn't get enough. And he's got an update for us from the Saturday Night Nitro race, the one that we were talking about on a very, very recent Speed Scene Live. Say, Bob, what's on the Great American Auto Scene tonight?
You know, your car got to a dealership somehow. I'm going to show you how it did, but the vintage way, not the way you see it today.
His car personally or all
Well,
cars?
no, I'm not going to be that new.
Oh.
We're doing real old school stuff.
Wait a minute.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Nice. Well, that sounds good. Now, Diana-Mite, let's introduce our guest for tonight. He's been involved with Donate Life. He's been involved with Signatures Across America. He's a great racer and a great person. And I think it would be time to bring him on. What do you think?
Well, I do, Lucky. Boys and girls, we'd like to introduce Bill. Bill, welcome to Speed Scene Live.
Thank you so much for having me out.
Well, it's a pleasure.
You know, Bill, you've been a fixture at a lot of tracks promoting Donate Life, but you don't just promote it, you are actually a transplant recipient. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, back in 2003, I received a life-saving lung transplant at USC. We were on the waiting list for 18 months, and before we were able to go back to racing, we used to drag an oxygen bottle around 24/7. So most days weren't that fun, and we had days we couldn't even walk 5 feet half the time. So transplant works really well. We were fortunate enough to receive a single right lung transplant from a donor, and life's been totally different ever since.
Man, what was happening to your lungs, Bill, that you had to get a transplant?
I had COPD, emphysema, and
Cardiopulmonary disease. I can't remember what the O is for. COPD.
obstruction.
Yeah, there you go.
I thought it stood for uh-oh.
Yeah,
Pretty much uh-oh.
close enough, right?
Yeah, oh no, or uh-oh,
But
either one.
Now, you've received this lung how many years ago?
It's been 11 years now. April
Dang.
is 11 years for me.
What is the normal life expectancy of a lung transplant?
The average nationwide is 5+ years.
Well, you got the plus, so
got
you
the
must
plus
be
side.
taking care of it.
Side, yeah.
Yeah, we got the plus side. We've been very, very fortunate. It has its ups and downs. We've been in and out of the hospital over the years with rejections, but they always take great care of us, and we keep bouncing back. So,
But they have new medications that allow your system to accept the transplant, and they're always coming up with new medications, correct?
oh yeah, we take a handful of meds in the morning and a handful of meds in the evening.
Sure, so your body doesn't reject it, correct?
Yeah, it's to fool the body into not even seeing the lung. It doesn't even know it's there, basically. So when it does start to reject, we go in for about 4 days for a bunch of IVs and a tune-up. So basically how we look at it. But
A fresh, like a motor freshen up, right? There you go.
Yeah, we go in, and sometimes we don't even know we're actually in rejection. We can get a little bit of a cold or something like that, and once we start running a fever like around 101, they want us to come in, and they'll do a bronch and go in and take biopsies and stuff. And sometimes we don't even know we're sick. But
Now, here's the
they'll
Nova
tell us.
that you're currently racing. This is a shot of you making a pass at Fontana, and this is your gold Nova, and you were out racing just recently at the NMCA. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the save.
You know, it's been a little while, Lucky. We're going to get you tuned up, too.
I'm rusty. You know, I'm having a brain rejection, I think.
Brain fart.
Now, I got to ask you a question because I asked you this once before, and I was the answers it was kind of amazing. Last 5 years on average, you've gone 11, so obviously you're somewhat on borrowed time. Will you go in for another transplant when this one ultimately fails?
We've thought about it on and off. You know, that thought doesn't leave the back of your head too often. So, you know, we think about what's going to happen and stuff like that, or how long it's going to last. But I think basically there's so many people on the waiting list in this country. As of this afternoon, East Coast time, there was 123,133 people.
Wow.
Holy
Men,
cow.
women, and children in this country waiting for a transplant of one kind or another.
Man,
That's all the transplants: heart, lung, whatever else.
Kidneys,
And
liver.
many don't survive while they wait.
The average of around 19 people a day pass away waiting for a transplant in this country every day. That's just under 7,000 people a year.
So you think that maybe what you've had pretty much is a gift, and you appreciate that gift, and you'll let somebody else take the next gift.
Yeah, it's nobody wants to leave here sooner than they have to. I mean, that's a given. And I would have been gone 10 and a half years ago. They said in my transplant I had about 3-4 months left. So, so this has all been a wonderful gift. Extra time with my family, able to go out and race, do this project, my way of giving back. And we did it with the Mini Pro Funny Car in the beginning, 2004 and 5. We toured IHRA and NHRA, and we met so many donor families out there when we were on tour. And we did this project as a way of giving back. Thank you for the life-saving gift that I received, but over the years I think I've been given back 10 times over.
Now, this picture that we have right here, Diana and I were honored and privileged to be asked to sign the hood of this car, and you have hundreds of signatures. And I of course, this is all part of your signatures across America with Sharpie as well. I mean, we all know Sharpie markers, the best marker around. It's an icon. If you think a marker, you're thinking of a Sharpie. And you're promoting Sharpie as well as Donate Life.
Yeah, they've been really great to us. They've been with us since
There you
the
go.
very beginning.
Yeah,
There's
yep.
a Sharpie.
They're everywhere.
I have one in my pocket. So
Everybody's
don't
got
leave home without
Sharpies.
it. So
Yes, red. That's the right color.
That's right. Now, tell us about the signatures on the car.
Well, the signatures, this hood started out with the signatures going on when we raced Irwindale at One and Done on exactly our 10th anniversary of transplant.
Wow.
And we got the One and Done sticker on the car. We raced a turbo bug that night 3 times. And he got the money, I got the sticker. So I'll take the sticker any day. But they made an entire episode out of that evening, so which was really great for Donate Life and everything. So the signatures mainly was USC doctors and staff. We had the car on display the next day at USC Hospital.
Wow.
And we just let the doctors and everything have at it. We have donor families that sign the car and recipients and that. And when we had the funny car, it was covered with signatures. We went through a couple of funny car bodies. Signatures of donor families around the country signing the car in memory of their loved ones.
Well, it's an amazing story, and we're going to talk some more about it tonight. And I got to tell you, Bill, you're just such a fantastic spokesperson for Donate Life and signatures across America,
And an inspiration too, really.
You really are. Really are.
The fact that you appreciate this gift that you got, and you want to give back to the community and all those individuals out there that are kind of in the same boat that you were in or are in, and let them know that there's hope out there, that hang in there, that it can come through for them as well.
Oh,
well said, Diana-Mite. Well said. And, now you're at events. You set up a booth at these events. You're also involved with a flooring company, too, aren't you?
Yeah, Swiss Tracks Floors came on board this year. They're supplying us with the flooring and everything else for our booth in the Donate Life colors. And we also have the booth there for them. They've been really great to us and make it possible to any of the floors that are purchased, the commission on that goes toward the car. And it helps us out a lot. And Sharpie, like I said, has been there since the very beginning, and we couldn't have had a signature car without them, and great products, and they've always been there to take care of us. And Dennis Taylor with Taylor Motorsports takes care of our fire suit and our parachute when we had the funny car. And it's just a lot of sponsors that have just made this whole project possible.
Well, let's take a quick break. We're going to go to a commercial break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk some more with you. We'll talk about the road trip we did in Kentucky, and we've got the great American auto scene. We've also got Dar Hawthorne with an update on the Saturday night of Nitro. It's all coming up. Speed Scene Live. Stay tuned.
At Aeromotive, we believe that performance means reliability, longevity, and durability. Being the best is no secret. By utilizing aerospace processes, procedures, technology, in-house engineering, true applications knowledge, and 3 generations of track experience, it's easy to see why we're the best. We take great pride in the fact that everything we sell, we design and make in the USA. See our entire line of fuel pumps and related products by logging on to aeromotiveinc.com. Aeromotive. We know it, we race it, we live it.
60 years. That's a long time for a company to do any one thing. Doing it right while sticking to your founding values. Now that takes hard work and dedication. For 60 years, Hedman's all-American workforce has been devoted to manufacturing the very best headers any team of craftsmen can build. That's 60 years of cutting, 60 years of bending, 60 years of welding, more than 2 million in all. And every set made right here at home. At Hedman Headers, we build all American horsepower, then back it up for life. Hedman Headers, made in the USA.
This is Del Worsham, and you're watching Speed Scene Live.
Welcome back to Speed Scene Live TV, the #1 online drag racing TV show. Brought to you by Curry Rear Ends, M&H Tires, Hedman Hustler Headers, Aeromotive Fuel Systems, and thefote.com.
Welcome back. We're just getting started. It's the return of Diana-Mite, Lucky Hudson, and there's the first of those, the second of those. Bob Beck's in the house. I'm Bruce Barker, and enough switching cameras already.
Woo, you get my head spin.
I'm glad you did it right this time.
Hey, Bruce, I want to mention some friends of mine out in Beaver Lick, Kentucky. I got this Beaver Lick Speed Shop T-shirt, and
Nice.
if you're in Beaver Lick, Kentucky area, and you're running an off-road vehicle or a drag car or even a street car or a hot rod, you can go to Beaver Lick anytime to get the good stuff.
You just like saying that over and over again, don't you, Lucky?
Well, my friends at Beaver Lick, they're big fans of the show, and I'm big fans of Beaver Lick.
Who was the first one to lick a beaver?
Well, and who was the second one? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really, I mean...
why would you look at a beaver and say, I want to lick that?
Yeah,
Well,
Never
maybe
mind.
they're using lick like they used to in the, when you beat up somebody.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
I'll show you, Beaver.
Yeah, I'll lick you.
Now, Bruce,
Gee, Ward, you were a little hard on the beaver last night. Of course, that was the old joke. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, moving right along. yeah.
That's right.
Bruce, you have some photos that I sent over from our road trip, and I just wanted to mention a couple things. Of course, the Nostalgia Drag Racing League was working in conjunction with the National Hot Rod Association, and this is Chad's Corvette. Remember, we did an interview with Chad. He came out.
Yeah, he was a nice guy.
It's North
He came all the way
Dakota,
out to
South Dakota.
California.
Ooh,
Came
that's
out.
a sleek-looking machine.
Oh, beautiful
was it
car.
Fontana that we saw him at, Lucky, and interviewed
I
him?
think it was Bakersfield. He came out to the March
okay.
meet.
All right.
And if you look on the hood scoop, you'll see Ray's. Ray's is a place that you can go and you can get a nice drink and a sandwich, some good conversation. And Chad is a wonderful guy, and I want to thank Chad for running the Speed Scene Live sticker on the car. and the car looks great. And you know what? He made it to the semifinals.
Oh, cool.
Is that awesome?
Wow, that's great.
9 out of 10 racers do better with the Speed Scene Live sticker.
They do.
Oh,
now,
look at this cute cookie.
you know the American Pie race car, the 37, 38 Chevy of Dave Mullins? Well, his wife makes these cookies, and she was so nice to bring me a plate of these cookies.
And you brought some home, Lucky.
I
that
did.
was so sweet of you.
I brought a few home because...
just a couple made it home.
well, it was a whole plate, and they were delicious.
Well, and look at that. Every single one is handmade. It's
handmade.
Look at that.
She did a great job.
Really a fantastic group of racers, the Nostalgia Drag Racing League. We're going to talk more about them. Here is the golf cart. I think this is Steve and Sally Walzak's golf cart. They run the 7.0 Pro class.
With a golf cart?
Well, they've got an alternate that they run.
Okay.
And
that'd be one hell of a golf cart, huh?
I didn't notice if they had the stickers on now. I know they've had them on the wing for a long time, but I did see the golf cart, and I thought, I'm going to take a couple pictures. And, of course, this one of the Nova.
Look at the wheel off the ground.
Oh, yeah, getting a little traction there.
There's some wheels off the ground in the front there, Lucky.
Yeah.
I see some air.
Yeah.
Not much, but a little bit, huh?
Well, a Nostalgia Drag World is the place that you can go to for this stuff. And Martin Liebhart, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, but nostalgiadragworld.com is where you can see all kinds of cool photos. Martin does a lot of the photos for for the Geezer Gassers. And I want to thank him for this photo. Really some cool stuff.
Snapped it just right.
Maybe now would be a good time to do the Great American Auto Scene with Hot Rod Bob Beck. Bob?
Yes.
I hear you got some good gas tonight.
I do. Good evening, everybody. I'm Bob Beck, and you've got gas once again here on Speed Scene Live. Back in the old days, the olden days, long before I was born, all the manufacturers that built cars also built trucks. And they hauled their cars to the dealerships with their own brand of truck, in most cases. And this is before the days of diesel-powered trucks. A lot of these trucks were still gas-powered. How about this Chevy cab over, the COE trucks? What's on the back was Buicks. This is about 1950-51 era. And GM trucks hauled GM vehicles. And you're going to see a whole bunch of them. Even Studebaker had a tractor.
Oh, yeah.
See that? Now, they used the basic pickup body on theirs. It wasn't a cab over. And there's about 1955, I believe, 54, 55 Studebakers on that.
That's a
transporter.
stylish trailer, too.
I tell you what, those were neat. They were works of
I
art.
like that one.
And here we go with a Ford. Now, it's not a cab over, but it's a Ford. They use the F-Series, or the F1 body, put bigger fenders on it, raised it up, put it on a heavier chassis. And these may not have been diesel-powered trucks. They were gasoline. So they were tough hauling.
Yeah, gasoline cost 29 cents a gallon back then, too.
Oh, if it was that much, yes. But diesels weren't in favor as yet. There's the backside of that similar truck, and it's got about 1951 Fords on there. You can see the 1.5-ton truck right there in front of the 51 Ford four-door sedan.
Man, did they work to get those cars on the bottom level? That's crazy.
And you look at it, too. I mean, there's only two dual tires in the back. Today, they've got 8 tires in the back to keep those things stable.
Yeah.
All right, now, I'm not quite sure what this one is, but there's a Packard with an International cab over on it. I had to look at that just to see what the grill was, and I believe that's International, and it's got old Packards. But these were stylish trucks. They didn't stop, but they were very stylish. Here's Dodges, and look at that, a Dodge COE.
How about a Dodge COE and it's carrying Dodge trucks?
That's right.
I like that panel.
That's the way
I
it
do
should
like
be.
that panel, yes, and that's the way it was back then. Now, what they just used the cab. Now, this one, Mercury's.
Okay, sure.
Well, you got to pull it by a Ford.
I guess they could have gone to Mercury, Canada, and gotten some Ford.
That's
or
right.
Mercury
In Canada,
trucks.
the pickup trucks were Mercury's.
Yeah.
So here you look at them, and look at the amount of tires they've got. They've got very few tires compared to trucks today. A tandem, they're not even a tandem axle. You got 4 tires in the back. Today, you'd have 8.
Yeah. Are they hauling less cars, though, than we do?
They are hauling less cars, and the trucks weighed less because they were gasoline-powered. They couldn't haul much. This is a mid-50s Chevy. Now, here's a Ford F-Series cab-over. And you see they got a little hump nose on them. They weren't a true cab-over like we have today, but these were called cab-over engine, COEs, back in the day. Here's another Studebaker, but this one somehow slipped a Ford in as a tow vehicle.
Oh, yeah, you're right about that.
But, I mean, it's braced. It's mounted to the truck.
Wow, and look at this. These are somewhat
About
shorter
1959
cars.
Studebakers.
Yeah, because they're all sort of like the Stubby Lark series or something, right?
Yeah, that was just before the Lark. That was
okay.
now here's that 51 Ford we saw from the other angle.
Man.
And I guess it wasn't a four-door, it's a two-door sedan, but it's got a 51 Ford F-Series. There's the Studebaker, a bullet nose, 1950-51 era, and naturally, Studebaker truck hauling the trailers.
And look at that, way off in the distance, you'd have to zoom in on
Look
your
at all
player.
those
But all those Studebakers.
We're gonna do a segment on Studebaker because they've got a quite exciting history, and doing some reading on them. They actually bought Pierce Arrow.
Really?
And they're more famous. They started out building wagons, the Conestoga wagons.
In fact, if you go to Yosemite and visit, I think it's the Wawana Hotel, the visitor center, right inside the park, there's a Studebaker wagon.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
That's where they got their fame. Here's a GMC or a Chevrolet COE with Oldsmobiles.
Yeah.
And one of the things the manufacturers did back then is they wanted to make sure that when the cars got to the dealer, their brand of truck was pulling it.
So there wasn't any worry, though. I mean, obviously, there was no Buick truck. So GM
they had to
was
use
fine with
GMC or
swapping out.
Chevrolet, right?
Sure.
Now here's a Mopar with a Dodge COE.
I'll say, now look at that trailer, man. That is style.
Isn't that
right
stylish? And look, the coupe on top is mine. I wonder if that's my car up there.
It could be.
It could be my coupe. Yeah, I don't know.
Flames, yeah, it could be.
Yeah, but the trailers were really... Now, here's, this is how they're still delivering trucks today. They're piggybacking them.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Do they then remove... I mean, where would the bed go on the bottom truck?
No, the beds are put on by the dealers. They're not put on by the factory.
Okay.
The OEMs don't make the beds. They just make the truck, the cab, and chassis.
Dang, I'm so out of the loop.
Yeah, so when I was...
Oh!
Looks like he took a wrong turn, found the tree on the first try.
Oh, look at those 59 Fords up there.
I
Somehow
know.
they stayed on.
59 Ford, but look at the truck, though, Bruce. That's about a 1956 cab over.
Yeah, boy, it was...
55, 56 vintage.
doing
that
some
snow?
long duty.
And it's got the V8 badge, so that's not even a diesel. That's a Y-block motor in that thing.
Yeah, like a 292
Well, actually,
or
292. Yeah, could be. I mean, that thing, can you imagine how hard that thing had to work to pull that trailer? They had enough trouble pulling their own cars.
Well, and look at the vintage of the tow vehicle. It's even
I know.
older.
Yeah, the tow truck was older. That's when they drove them until they died.
Yeah. Oh,
There's
look
another
at
angle
that.
in the,
Nice 57 Chevy parked alongside going...
Yeah, Ford's in the ditch. Yeah. Oh, there we go. There we go. We got some old wagons.
Boy, you're going way back now.
Now we're way back. How they delivered the wagons with trucks, I don't know. All right, now here's one of the ones where, Packard didn't make a truck. There's a GMC. And this is the one where they put the pickup cab on.
Those Packards were some funny-looking cars by that time, if you ask me.
Look at that front grill. That's beautiful.
But and then that's another company that was absorbed by Studebaker.
Yeah. And that weird Studebaker Hawk, whatever, or the Packard Hawk.
Packard,
and 58 or so was just... Well,
and I'll tell you the story about that some other time, but it's an interesting story. Here you go with an old Ford COE.
Oh, sorry.
Pulling.
Yeah, and I
Fords.
see the label, if you can read it closely there on the truck, it says Ford Tractor.
Yes.
Dun, dun,
Ford
dun.
Tractor. There's another Ford Tractor.
Yeah, those are real tractors.
Ford tractors. Many people don't remember that Ford built tractors, farm implements.
Lots of them, too, as I recall.
They did. And airplanes. There's another Ford cab over, but nothing in the back.
Man, that is just... I keep coming back to the design here.
Yeah.
It's cool.
The trailers were stylish.
Hey, Bruce, go back to that one. Wouldn't that make a cool race car hauler if you put
bet.
windows and then just put your race car underneath?
Little Tommy Ivo-ish.
Yeah, it would, yeah.
Yeah, that would
that'd
be
be
great.
sweet.
All right, here we got a Mopar. I think those are well. What are those? That's a Packard up front.
Yeah.
but that's a Mopar in the middle and on top.
Huh. Go
So
figure.
yeah, so
Maybe
that
it's
must
a
be used
car
cars.
dealership.
Yeah, used cars.
Yeah, and there's another
There's that
Ford
51
shop.
Ford again.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
And that was it. But that's how they got your car to market. The manufacturers all made trucks, Studebaker, GM, Dodge, or Mopar at the time, because Dodges were sold as Plymouths in Canada in some cases.
Wow.
So I know trucks and cars came by rail, but of course over the highway, that was the way they did it.
That was where they did it. Once you got to the railhead, you had to get it to the dealer somehow.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Bill, how do you get your Nova to the track? Anything similar like this here?
Nothing that fancy. We have a 3-axle, 20-foot flatbed trailer. So.
All right, here.
Still more tires.
Still more tired than
Still more
those
tires than
trailers.
that,
Yeah.
Yeah, I drove truck most of my life, and it'd be fun to drive one of those.
Yeah, those guys. You see a lot of guys making them into hot rods now. There's a guy that comes out. I can't remember
see
his
that.
name.
I see
he
those.
He hauls his 56 F100 panel on the back of his 56 COE.
But those trucks, didn't they do a lot with gearing? You know, you had the 10-speed, then you had the split rear.
And some of them had dual transmissions. They had transmissions in tandem. So you had one transmission, then another transmission bolted to the back of that. That gave you 8, 10 speeds. They used 6-cylinder gas motors. They used V8 gas motors. Some of them were using Detroit diesels. Some of the GMCs and the Chevrolets, because GM owned Detroit Diesel.
And I've seen those trucks were not very comfortable. They were like stagecoach. So, you know, you had to be a man's man.
It was utility. Power steering wasn't available. Automatic transmissions didn't become available until the 60s in those. They were all manual transmissions. Manual brakes, drum brakes. And in a lot of cases, those guys would disconnect the front brakes because the theory was that the front brakes grabbed, they jackknifed the trailer.
Wow.
You had to be a real man.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard some of those guys even cross the country with no trailer brakes. You heard that one, Diana-Mite?
Yeah, I heard that, Lucky.
Yeah, that's amazing.
You know, some guys actually do that and make other people worry about them all the way from Texas.
Not in 2014.
All the way from Texas.
It's amazing. Amazing. It's just hard to believe.
You think you could find someone in Texas to actually fix those brakes, but no.
There aren't any truck stops between Texas and here, are there? No.
Hey, Bob, I got a question for you off the Fote.com. They'd like to know, how much time a week do you spend doing research for this type of material? Because all our viewers are amazed that not only do you know this stuff, but that you have all these photos. And I try to tell them that you actually took the photos yourself, but they don't believe it.
Back in the olden days when I was just a little kid with my Brownie camera. It just depends on what the topic is. Some of the things I already know just from being around this all the time. And sometimes I look into it and read. Like on this, it took me a couple of hours to find the photo. Actually, I got the photos initially from a friend in an email. I don't remember when. I've had them for about 2 years, and I was going to use them, and then came across them last week and said, okay, I'm finally going to use these things. Then I got online and started reading about cab overs, finding out what they use for transmissions, engines, who was building them, what the power plants were, the things I could find out about them. And the internet is a wonderful source for that. But I also have about 300 books at home. And a lot of the topics that I cover are from the books that I have.
This is the part where they said Ford stands for Found Off-Road Daily.
Yeah, Found on Road Dead. There it is.
So what you're saying, Bob, is you there was so much time between when you got these photos and when we're seeing them now on Speed Scene Live. They were originally in color.
And probably, yes, yeah.
Wow.
And they faded?
Yeah. They faded, yeah.
In the computer, they just
made
faded.
them sepia, so they looked old, yes.
Now, Bruce, can we go to Bill's website? And he mentioned at the top of the show that he was driving a funny car at one time. And Bill, I'd like to, I know on the website there's a picture page, and it shows some shots of the funny car body. And when I first met you, this is the car that you were campaigning, and it was the Signatures Across America funny car. Tell our viewers a little bit about this car.
The funny car is a motorcycle-powered funny car. Mine had a 1,000cc Kawasaki on nitrous, and it was weighed about almost 800 pounds with me in it, and 110-inch wheelbase. We used electric over air shifter, and it was just a blast to drive. Butterfly wheel. You had the escape hatch. Had 8-inch drag slicks on it, and nowadays they're putting Hayabusas in them with turbos and everything else. The dragsters with the motorcycle engines are a friend of mine, Ricky Davis. His was 173 mile an hour in a quarter mile.
And what did yours do?
The best I've had mine up to was 128.
Okay.
Now, is it a heads up or index or a bracket?
It's bracket. Okay. Or you can go ahead when you go back to Indiana and stuff like that. They'll match you up for a heads up.
Oh, okay.
So it's a lot of fun. We'll have dragsters go against the funny cars.
Yeah.
There's a large group in Indiana and the Midwest that I'd say probably 60-70% of them are dragsters. The rest of them are the funny cars. GBC Racing out of Milford, Indiana, builds the funny cars, and absolutely excellent funny car. Certifies down to 7.5 seconds.
So now they don't weigh hardly anything, right?
No, they're super light. The body itself weighs maybe 110, 120 pounds.
Wow.
And the chassis is just chrome moly, and without an engine in it, you can just pick it up, throw it in the trunk.
Now, if you were going to run these cars, and I just forgot the question I was going to ask.
I thought the question was if you were going to run the cars.
I can run the car. I could probably run it for 60 feet, maybe. But anyway, the cost, it's got to be a lot less than running a full scale.
Oh, absolutely. Huge difference in cost. Most guys are just buying a used motorcycle, yanking the motor out, and putting it in the chassis.
Any special kind of fuel?
I just used C12.
Regular race fuel.
Wow.
Just regular race fuel. Some guys are running alcohol.
But you got to shift those, right? They don't come in an automatic. You're actually pulling a shift or using your foot.
To downshift them, I used a bar from the lever on the engine behind me and was downshift it. But as far as once we get it on the track and stage it, we had an electric over-air button on the butterfly wheel.
Now, you don't have it reversed. How do you back it up?
You pick it up and you turn it around.
Someone was pushing it, okay.
Somebody pushed you backwards.
Like you said, you just pick it up, Bob. You pick it up and turn it around.
If you rolled through the lights, hopefully the guy with the button in his hand up there would push you back.
Okay.
Well, Bruce, let's take a commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to have Dar Hawthorne give us an update on the Night of Nitro up at Famoso Drag Strip. It was a huge success. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
For over half a century, Curry rear-end components have been twisting out the torque and taking the punishment. And the new Curry lineup is stronger than ever. Some of the world's most capable, hardest-working vehicles depend on Curry gears, which is why you can too. Street cars, hot rods and resto rods, drag cars, rock-crawling four-wheel drive vehicles, whatever you're piloting, Curry expertise and rock-solid design means so you can do yours. Check out Curry's custom rear ends, featuring a full line of upgrades, components, and installation options. The Curry Crate rear ends lineup offers ultra-strong construction on third members and carrier assemblies. And other underside parts, like correct link steering systems, keep your four-wheeler pointed where you want it. Add in a wide variety of solid, purpose-built suspension and brake components, and you've got one tough, ready-to-go machine. Grab a hold of a Curry rear end. Talk to the experts at 714-367-2679 or view the complete line online at curryenterprises.com. That has served to defend our great country and our freedom. All of us here in the United States of America would like to offer our sincere appreciation for all that you do and all that you've done. To every family that has made a sacrifice for us, we thank you.
M&H Tires, makers of racing tires that give you the best bite for the buck. You've paid a lot for that horsepower. Make sure you use it all. M&H Tires has the best compounds available for maximum traction. Go to mandhtires.com. That's mandhtires.com. Buy direct and save at the website and mention the Speed Scene for a 5% discount. That's right, mandhtires.com. Call them at 661-324-4773. M&H Tires has tech guys ready to answer your questions or to recommend the best tire for you, slicks or DOT. M&H Tires has it all. M&H were the first to create racing tires for muscle cars and also the first to create racing tires for sport compact cars. Legendary M&H Tires. Shop online, mention the Speed Scene, and save 5%. Get the best racing tires, great personal service, and save 5%. Go to mandhtires.com or call them at 661-324-4773. mandhtires.com.
I'm Tom Mongoose McEwen, and you're watching Speed Scene Live.
to Speed Scene Live TV, the #1 online drag racing TV show. Brought to you by Curry Rear Ends, M&H Tires, Hedman Hustler Headers, Aeromotive Fuel Systems, and thefote.com.
Oh, yeah, and it's another Tuesday night. You're live with Diana-Mite. We've got Scott Lucky Hudson here to my left playing with his computer, and Bruce Barker back there playing with his little controls. Is everything going okay for you guys? We're happy to be back here on solid ground in sunny Southern California. We've got Dar. He's going to give us a little information. Dar, tell us all about that Nitro Madness.
Well, it wasn't Nitro Madness. It was Saturday Night Nitro at
Well,
Auto Club
Nitro,
Famoso
Nitro,
Raceway.
Nitro.
We were all mad to be there, but
Well, there you go.
It was a great.
You're mad.
I figure we
Thanks
had,
for correcting me, though.
we probably had about 2,700. Well, it's gotten a lot of names, and Saturday Night Nitro is what is starting to stick. And it's we had 14 Nitro funny cars there, 3 nostalgia front motored cars, a big show. Mike Salinas brought his big show car,
And this car, I'm certain, was there.
and it was there, and it ran a 572 off the trailer. I mean, the car was hauling. Anyway, the funny cars that ran, the 8 quickest were Richard Townsend, Robert Overholser, James Day, Roger Garton, Dale Van Gundy, Dean Oberg in the Holy Toledo Jeep. That car is all of a sudden gotten it together, running a 610 in the final.
It's all
ran
that
a
bright yellow, man.
592.
Jeez.
And Bob Godfrey and Rick Rogers were finalists. Ultimately, James Day won the whole enchilada, running a 581 in the final. And the great thing is, not a lot of oil downs.
That is nice.
Lots of cones, because you got to kind of expect that. But the Fuel Altereds put on a great show. The Top Fuel Dragsters did a great job, and I would say that probably the 2,800 people that were there had a lovely time at $25 a carload.
That's a good deal. A whole carload of people for $25.
I got an email from a friend of mine. He came out of Redondo Beach, and he and 3 buddies got together, and they all pitched in $50, which covered the gas, their beer, and designated driver, and they had a ball up there.
That is a fine time.
But it was fun watching people jumping out of cars, parking in the lot outside, jumping into a van or something so they could all get in for $25.
Oh, geez.
Now, did you guys have jet cars up there, too?
Yeah, only 3 of them, sorry, but
That's
yeah.
plenty. Did they run all 3 at the same time? Because that would be fun.
I'll bring that up to Blake next time.
There's only 2 lanes, Lucky.
Well, hey, they're
You
not
got
that
the
fat.
middle.
You know?
do have the center groove.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of bikes up there, a lot of a couple of pro mods. Scott Oxus was there with his twin turbo car. The High Speed Motorsports Dragster is running really well right now. Daryl Reed's come up with some new rocker arms for it. Dan Horan, who won 2 of the races last year, ran a 572 on Friday night, and was Ronnie Swearingen, his crew chief, said, "I think we've got a 60 in it for Saturday night," and smoked the tires about 28 feet out, and did not qualify for the final. And this is an interesting shot here. The Pure Heaven car exploded the manifold.
That's flame.
That is flame.
Wow, what a great shot. You caught it at just the right moment.
That is Rob Gibson. I'm not going to take credit for it. Rob Gibson, who's the PR guy at the track, managed to get that. And as he said, that was one of my luckiest shots ever. It's amazing how that flame just travels around that car.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. Now, boom, the car stopped and they pushed it off, or did it go down?
No, they pushed it up. No, it moved about 11 inches. And that's my shot from down track. And you can see that flame was everywhere. And then the next shot, you can see some of the damage.
Yeah, that blower's at an odd angle, isn't it?
And there's no way to really straighten that out and get it ready for competition on Saturday night. So that was a Friday night test that went out.
Wow.
That's Randy Winkle.
That's Randy Winkle's car.
The Famoso Speed Shop.
Yep.
Or the Famoso Mob.
Beautiful car.
What is that? This little coupe?
That's
an Opal? Is
Yeah.
that right?
Yeah.
Opal?
Oh, look at that. Would that be a cadet?
A cadet with I think that's a blown small block in it. And
not exactly what Opel put in it.
No, but
they should have. They'd still be in business.
They'd still be selling them. California Hustler did well, qualified second. With Robert Overholzer in it, and of course there were the 3 Nostalgia Top Fuelers there, and really great show. There's an exploding Harley, Nitro Harley.
Those Nitro Harleys are so fun to watch. They're so crazy. You got to be insane to drive one, but they're so much fun because they just look like it's a man sitting on top of a motor.
Let's get you on one.
No.
Come on.
I'm not man enough.
How about you, Dar? Let's put you on one of those.
No,
huh?
thank you. No interest. I'll shoot them.
My Harley goes nice and slow.
Yes, it does.
You don't want one of those.
You're a cruiser on your Harley, right?
I am. I barely move.
No, the next Saturday Night Nitro is September 6th. And then in between, while we were running the Boise Bakersfield Blitz, Richard Townsend is leading the Boise Bakersfield Blitz, and Robert Overholzer is number 2. A lot of good competition there, with almost $5,000 in prizes for attending and qualifying over 4 races, 2 at Boise and 2 at Famoso.
Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible. Well, it looks like a great event. Looking forward to more. And if you didn't make this one, you got a shot at September. Come on
6th.
out. Is it going to be $25 a carload again?
That's what I understand.
Wow.
And it's also going to be a good warm up since the Phoenix race, the Phoenix Heritage race, was canceled. It also looks like it's not great for the Canadian Heritage race, so that may be the last warm up before anybody gets a shot at the track again for the California Hot Rod Reunion.
Wait a minute. There's a Canadian Heritage race?
Yes, there was. There might be.
It could still happen. Well, hasn't that Phoenix race been canceled twice already?
Yes.
Oh, well, we better not talk about that. Hey, Bodar, thanks a lot for bringing us that. We're getting on dangerous ground here.
There you go.
Appreciate it. And Bill, I know that you don't run any nitro, but I know you're a fan of all types of racing. And Bruce, you probably have a shot of that funny car of his that we were talking about.
Yeah, well, let's see. What shall we take a look at first? There's so much good stuff to take a look at, and I think what we'll do is this, because I know we've got the signature car standing by. A little video here.
This is Diana-Mite signing the signature car with a Sharpie, of course. And these are the new click-top Sharpies, by the way.
I didn't know you could get those.
Yeah, those are way cool.
Dang. Where have I been hiding?
Yeah.
Well, Bill's in the loop.
You're old-fashioned. You like old cars, so you like the ones that have the caps that just pull off.
Apparently.
But, he's got the click.
Now, Bill, tell us a little bit about Johnny, the original owner of the Nova.
Yeah, Johnny McPeak was an organ donor. He passed away in 2005. That was his car, the Nova, and he raced it out at Byhalia and Memphis. He was world foot brake champion in 1988. Not with the Nova, but I think he had Chevelle, and he was racing with Steve Sanderson. Steve was running his Vega, and there's a story on my website, donorracing.com. You'll see it links as Johnny's page, and there's a really good story of how he ended up winning the World Foot Brake Championship when he actually shouldn't even have been there, because in points he was like 3rd or 4th at his home track. And but that's all I'll say. You have to go read it. It's really a cute story.
And what was that site again?
donorracing.com.
Okay.
And this is
also
Johnny's
signaturesacrossamerica.org.
So that is Johnny right there.
That is Johnny McPeak right there. Great guy. I know him only by, what his family and friends have told me over the years and everything. We picked up the car in 2011. And
why did you end up with the car?
Donna Clark, Johnny's girlfriend, the car was in the garage for 5 years on blocks, and it just broke their heart every time they'd see it sitting there. And so they asked us if we would take the car and bring it back to life and campaign the car in memory of Johnny also. So we were more than happy to do so.
Wow, what a nice gift.
Yeah, very nice gift. We took 2 years going through it, and everything else, it's been an absolute honor to drive this car. Johnny was multiple track champion back in the Midwest and stuff. He was one of those guys that if anybody needed anything, he'd be the first one there to help them. and that is just one of those people. So it's quite an honor to drive this. Trying to get used to it and everything else, from the funny car to that one, but we're getting used to each other at this point.
Now you've got Mickey Thompson on the hood there, so obviously you're running Mickey Thompson rubber on the car.
All the way around, yeah.
And we mentioned, what was the flooring company again?
It's Swiss Tracks.
Swiss Tracks. Those are those plastic floor pieces that you can come and put together at the track.
They're like real cushy, so when you're standing,
they snap together, different colors.
You're standing in your pit area all day long.
World of difference in how you feel as opposed to standing on asphalt. And everything else. Great company out of Indio, and they've just been wonderful to us. And
are there links on your site to these sponsors and so forth?
Yes, there are. We have a sponsor link page, and it shows different sponsors over the years. Sharpie's been with us from the beginning.
There's that funny car we were talking about, and you can see it's sort of a, I don't know, is it half size or?
Yeah, it's pretty close to about half size.
Maybe even smaller than half, huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
And it's narrower
it's
too, right?
110-inch wheelbase.
Okay.
And it's about 54 inches across.
It's a neat car.
Yeah, it's really great. If you took the body off and you lengthened it about another 4 feet, you'd have a dragster. Basically what it is, if you can tell by the pictures. Just stretch it out a little bit and you'd have a great dragster. But it's a great car. We went through a couple of funny car bodies with signatures from donor families and recipients, and that's been probably the funnest part about doing this project when we toured around the U.S. in 2004 and 5 is so many donor families at the racetracks, and or people would come up that are racers or fans saying, "Well, I had a kidney transplant back in 2005 or this time or whatever," and they'd share their stories and stuff. But it's been wonderful to be able to have donor families. So I love this guy.
You were really young when you started driving, weren't you?
Yeah, I've got this guy listed as he'll be in John Force's car in 2023.
Yeah. They were talking earlier about the fact that they had reduced the age on the junior dragsters to what, 5 now?
5
here?
now,
yeah, a little young, but I guess some kids are ready at that point.
We were at a car show, and every time his parents turned around, they couldn't find him. He was in the funny car, and they had to finally just pick him up and put him in their car, and he was screaming.
Now, you also have McGuire's Wax that keeps your cars looking good.
Yeah, McGuire's came on board a few years ago. They supply us with all our wax and cleaning material and everything to keep that Nova looking great.
And, of course, we're very honored and proud that you run the Speed Scene Live sticker on there. Every time the car goes down the track, we feel like we're kind of there with you. So it makes us proud that, you go to all these places and you talk to people and you bring awareness to, Donate Life. And there's a lot about it that when it comes from you personally, you have so much integrity and authority that people have a tendency to listen more and they learn more, and I think it sinks in just a little bit better.
I hope so, anyway. We're also able to go to hospitals. We talk to the medical staff about our experiences with transplant and stuff like that, so that they're aware of what it's like from a transplant recipient's perspective of what it's like waking up in the hospital in ICU, what it's like to go through the first few weeks of learning to survive with a transplant and getting used to all the medications and
it's scary for a lot of people.
It's very scary.
Yeah.
In the beginning, you don't know what to expect. I remember when I woke up in ICU the first evening after transplant, and I'm a very hyper person anyway, and so I was just yakking away and everything. And when I had the breathing tube in, I was writing on paper. And I thought I was writing volumes to my sister and brother-in-law and my family and stuff. And they saved that paper for me for about 2 weeks before I went home. In the hospital, the biggest bunch of chicken scratch you ever saw. Yeah, you couldn't. There was not a word one on that piece of paper. But as far as I was concerned, I was
communicating.
It was.
You feel all alone when you go through something like this. But Bill, you help people realize that there's thousands of recipients, there's thousands of families that donate, there's thousands of people that they get a little closure when maybe their child dies in a car accident, but they know that as a result those organs go and help maybe 12 or 20 different people. And you mentioned it's not just major organs like the heart or the lung. They also, the skin, the bones.
Tissue, eyes.
Yeah.
Tissue, corneas,
eyes.
bone, ligaments. Like a sports person, say they tear a ligament and it needs to be repaired. That's where this comes from.
You know, we're car people, and there's not a single one of us that hasn't gone to the junkyard and had to pull a part off an old car that was just not going to make it. The car is a goner. It's going to be crushed. But you get that part, and you take that part, and you put it on your car. And to me, that's kind of what you're doing, and
Exactly
I
the same
relate to it like that. And some cars can't be saved, unfortunately. Some people can't be saved, but there's a lot of good parts.
Yes, there is. I mean, you can save up to 8 people with solid organ transplant and enhance the lives of others with tissue up to 50 people, and that with one donor.
That's
so
a
it makes a big difference.
deal.
And it's whether you're, like a young person with cystic fibrosis, with them with transplant, they have to get a double lung transplant because if they did a single lung, the other lung would contaminate the other lung and stuff. But it's not a complete fix. It's not a cure. But it certainly enhances
gives them more
lives
time.
And that.
It sure beats the alternative.
Yes, it does.
It does.
One great thing out of it, I've spent all this extra time with my family and my friends here and at the racetrack and everything. But I have a great-granddaughter that's going to be 6. And that I would never have known without a transplant. And her name's Sequoia, and she's just the love of my life.
Wow. And that's a gift that you received, that granddaughter. Yep. Wow. Amazing. Well, before we all tear up out here, not me, because I'm tough.
Yeah, here, I'll give you one.
Of course,
I'll give you one. My sister would have had her birthday today, and she died waiting for a heart and lung transplant.
Oh, man. There you go.
What did you say? 19 people?
19 people a day, on average, pass away waiting in this country for a transplant. And like I said, there's 123,000, 133 as of this afternoon on the waiting list in this country.
That's a lot. Listen, we've got just a couple minutes. There's a couple dates that we'd like to do for what's going on. Bill, where will you be next? What's your next race?
We'll be at Fontana in the middle of July. I think we're going to do the Summit race.
Great.
There. We'll do NMCA there in October. And we're just going to try and stay busy. We do car shows in between and hospital appearances and stuff. So.
Well, coming up July 3rd, Diana-Mite told everyone about the Match Race Madness warm-up party at Irwindale. Come on down. Hot Rod Bob Beck will be in the tower announcing. This is just to kind of get people excited about the upcoming Match Race Madness at Verona.
August 2nd, West Coast Diesel Shootout. That's going to be up at Spokane, Washington.
August 15th through the 17th, the Colonial Classic at Virginia Motorsports Park.
August 15th and 16th, Industrial Injections Rocky Mountain Shootout at Salt Lake City, Utah, RMR track.
Now, July 18th, the NDRL will be at the Blue Suede Cruise at Summit Motorsport Park. Now, there has been another association using the same acronym. The Nostalgia Drag Racing League is doing great. However, the National Dirt Racing League is no longer with us. But don't confuse them, because the Nostalgia Drag Racing League is doing better than ever.
And we want to let everybody know about the Yellow Bullet Nationals. Those are going to be at Cecil County, August 29th. Right, Lucky? And
that's right.
The 21st Labor Day Speed Scene Live TV. Well, we plan on being at the Hillbilly Arm Drop Drags. That's Labor Day weekend.
And August 23rd, Match Race Madness at Verona. You know you want to be there. You want to be on the CD. Hey, everybody, thanks for tuning in. It's great to be back in the studio. I think we're finally warmed up for next week.
And we want to let everybody know that What's Going On is brought to you by Curry Racing Rear Ends, Hedman Hustler Headers, and Aeromotive. Thanks so much.
We'll see y'all next week. Bill, thank you so much for being on the show. And I hope that people come up to you at the races to let you know that they saw you on Speed Scene Live. And talk to you and find out more about Donate Life and signatures across America.
Thank you so much for having us out.
Dar, good to see you again.
Excellent to see you.
And you as well, Bob Beck.
Bob, Bob's around there somewhere. Where is he? Oh, he's behind Diana-Mite.
So,
What are you doing back
it's
there?
just so confusing.
Stop goosing me.
That's why he's over there.
That's why he has such a big smile.
Yeah, that's it. Coming up next, of course, the encore presentation of tonight's show. And by all means, join us for that. Head over to the archives page, check out recent shows, stuff like that. We'll be live 1 week from right now, right here at Speed Scene Live. For now, thanks for joining us tonight.
Speed Scene Live TV, the #1 online motorsports TV show. Brought to you by Curry Racing Rear Ends, M&H Tires, Hedman Hustler Headers, Aeromotive Fuel Systems, and TheFoe.com.